It is my pleasure to bring the first talk to you. Right, let's see if we can actually get the this there is supposed to be a video over here which okay. Um, we are in Australia, Western Australia, 1930s. The town is called Campion, and there is a lot of birds, the flightless birds, emus. These emus have migrated there from rest of Australia. You know what else is happening in the 1930s? The Great Depression. It wasn't limited to the US. There was drought all over the world, and Australia was not spared either. So these emus had gone looking for wheat. They liked wheat just as much as everybody else. But wait, why am I calling it emu? I know some of you, especially who are from the US, pronounce this as emu. Well, I grew up in India, so I grew up on English that was brought to my country by these folks. Now, I'm grateful for that opportunity that I got to grow up speaking English. It makes life easier for me. But you know, duck the empire. This talk is about emus. You see how tall they are over here in the picture. This is a real picture from the 1930s. But what else is fun about the emus? They could run faster than trucks, at least the 1930s version of the trucks. And they could run easily 15 miles, 20 miles at top speed. They could absorb bullets. Their plumage was so thick, you could shoot at them and the bullet is going to have to do some work to get and actually have some damage. 6 feet tall. And they can burst through fences. So what's happening over here is that the emus have landed in what is Australian wheat fields. And what those wheat fields at that time only had these tiny little fences. The picture over here is actually from an Australian newspaper that was making fun of these fences, that these fences were actually made for rabbits to play tennis over. These weren't really any fences, so to speak. So of course the emus just burst through them and they came onto the wheat fields and they helped themselves. So what did the Australian people try and do? They called, as everybody, a sane person would do, the agriculture minister, the pest control minister. No. They called the army. This is after the First World War. The soldiers have come back. They are still trying to assimilate back in society. So actually the Australian army was very happy to have something to do. Let's go with some machine guns and some rifles and go after these gigantic murder birds. The media lapped it up. They declared Emu War as having begun. Now, every war loves propaganda and every propaganda loves war. They did try and actually record videos of the Emu Wars. And because it worked this time.
The scouts of the advancing army have keen eyesight, and in order to get close to the main body, our lads have to do some real stalking, with the enemy watching events through their periscopes. Raised up over the hills of storm. Now they're retiring, off at 40 miles an hour. Well, instead of the birds ruining the farmers, it seems the tables are turned. There'll be no more damage down here for many a day to come.
The tables were turned indeed. So what happened over there was they had about three gunners, 2 to 3 gunners, all with these guns that were called the Lewis guns. They had no idea what the emus were going to do when they shot at the emus. The emus just scattered and ran away. So what did the gunners do? Like every sane person, they kept shooting. And the emus were like, eh. They scattered into so many smaller groups. There were maybe no more than 10 emus that were killed in that first day. And to give you the perspective, there were 20,000 in this town of Campion. 3 gunners to take out 20,000 emus. Birds won. So a few days later, the army men thought of a different strategy. Well, instead of us going and chasing after the birds, why don't we wait where the birds will come to us? Let's go to the source of water. They are going to have to come and drink water. You know what it's called? But these birds are smart. They noticed that the army men were there, and they almost broke into smaller groups where they had one person who would keep an eye out while the others were drinking water and minding their own business and eating all the wheat. And the soldier, the emu soldier that was on the lookout would like cackle and would give a signal that, hey, the gunners are coming, and the pack would scatter. The gunners tried to, hide and try to lay siege, and they went after one small group at a time. And their guns jammed. Their guns refused to fire. I want to believe that one of the Jedi emu was like, these are not the birds you're looking for. And the guns just were like, yep, got it. These are not the birds we want to shoot at. Birds too. At this point in time, the news has spread across the country, and the media in Sydney and Melbourne is having a field day. They are like, what is going on here? It's been almost a week, and we've managed to kill maybe 20 emus, and we've ran through 1,000 rounds of ammunition. We need a new strategy. The commander who was leading this, his name was General GPW Meredith. He decided to bring out the new strategy, the big weapon, a jeep. So they mounted those Lewis guns, the machine guns, on top of a jeep, and they said, now how will the birds run past us or run from us? But you know what happens? This is the Australian outback. There are no paved roads. The jeep is bumping all over the place. And so now you have the gun completely destabilized, and it is just shooting out into the wild, and it is again not catching any emus. There was one fearless emu who went one step further. This emu put their life on the line to save their fellow other birds. They went and crashed into the jeep. Literally, this emu, this emu was on a suicide mission. Accidentally or otherwise, he crashed into the jeep, head first, went through the windshield, and got stuck into the steering wheel. And the army men lost control, and the jeep went and crashed into the fence. He saved hundreds of his fellow birds. Birds 3. All right, so to recap, they tried to take out the emus in an outdoor pack, and the emus scattered and took some bullets and still managed to run away. They tried some guerrilla tactics, which really we should just call them emu tactics by now. I know they're not named after the gorilla, the animal. Their guns jammed. Then a suicide mission takes out their jeep, and the jeep is completely non-functional. Now they are just on foot. The media has just lost it. Like, why are we not being able to kill just these little birds? We have machine guns. We are army. This is now going to be a joke. This is a real picture, by the way, of those three gunners sitting on their jeep and watching the emus run away. The matter has reached the Australian Parliament. The opposition is making fun of the government. What are you spending all of our money and ammunition on? Why can't you think of something else to help this pest control situation? And one of the members of opposition said, you know what, we should give some medals to these emus. They're war heroes. They basically won every round. Imagine if they served in our army. We could go and win wars with them in the army because they're basically like indestructible tanks. The Emu Wars are called off. The emus have been declared victorious. But what about the farmers and their wheat fields? Well, change in tactics. In come bounty hunters. I thought about bringing in Boba Fett over here, but I was a little too sad with that idea. So the army gave up the idea of trying to shoot down the birds with military guns, and instead they told all the farmers that we are going to give you money for every emu that you catch. The catch is that you just have to bring their beak to us because you're not going to be able to drag this whole 6 feet bird along with you. So the farmers were now incentivized to go out and hunt these birds one by one. Apparently, they could only take care of 100 birds per week. 20,000, do the math, it's probably took them months and months and months. But why not just build a bigger, stronger fence? It took people months to come up with the idea, wait, what is the actual problem that they're coming into your wheat field? Have you tried building a fence that can withstand a 6-foot bird? And I kid you not, that's what they did. So fast forward now, almost 90 years later, the world lives a little more happily ever after. The emu has made its way to the Australian coat of arms. Australian people have made peace with it. The emus have figured out not to go past the fences, which have probably evolved in technology. But this is such a fascinating tale. And this is where I'm going to raise a toast, and I encourage you all to join me. And I'm going to go a little left field on the toast over here. I want to raise a toast to one of the best moments in film cinema magic for me, and that's two emus and Australia.